Hi, this is Sean Keith with Keith Law Group. Congratulations, we've gotten all your medical records. We're now moving into the demand phase. And this is when all those records go to a case manager, your case manager that's been assigned to your case. She puts everything together. The privacy information has been redacted. She gets all that information. She gets the photos together. She gets all those things. She puts it together. She puts some information down for the lawyer, and then she sends it over to the lawyer. And I've done this, and we do this a particular way that you'll become familiar with. But I get all that information if I'm the lawyer in your case, and I look at everything that goes into how I determine a value for your case. I look at the photographs, I look at the injuries, I look at the billing, I look at the type of treatment that you've received. I look at the insurance companies, I look at what's called subrogation, I look at MedPay, I look at everything that there is to consider in regards to evaluating your case. And then I prepare what's called a demand prep note. And it's got all kinds of information, a lot of which I just described. And then I'll put good, bad. So those facts that are good for the value of the case, not you personally, but the value itself of the case, I'll put in one column. The bad, I'll put in another. And at the end of that process, I will then I'll set what's called a minimum authority amount. I'll have the case manager reach out to you. They'll schedule an appointment for a few days later. You and I will sit down, or you and your lawyer will sit down, and we'll go, and hopefully we can meet at one of our offices. And if not, we can do it by Zoom or we can do it on the telephone. I'm a little old school. I like to eyeball each other. I think it's important for you to meet me in person, but if we can't do that, we can't do it. And I've done it every way possible. But I go through these notes and I tell you, here's what I've taken into consideration to come to an amount that I would not turn down, a minimum amount, a walk-away number, if you will. And I do that, I go through it, it's usually 2 or 3 pages of information. I tell you what I'm thinking. You have time to ask any questions, sometimes correct me on a fact that I may have wrong. I take all that in consideration, and then I do what's called an estimated settlement spreadsheet. And on that spreadsheet, it has the minimum authority number, and then ultimately at the very bottom, in green, what you will put in your pocket. And if I need to do some negotiation with medical providers or medical health insurance companies or whatever that will adjust that number in green, I do it. There have only been 2 times in my career where my clients put less money in their pocket than I took in a fee. 99% of the time, and I'll tell you if you're the 1%, I will never take more in fee than you put in your pocket. Not what you pay for medical providers, but what you put in your pocket. Anyway, you'll sign off. We'll go through it. You sign off. Here's my minimum authority. You get to ultimately decide. Obviously, if we're a lot different on my recommendation, then we'll talk about it. Maybe I've missed something. Maybe one time I had a guy say he wanted $50,000 in his pocket. And I said, well, 50,000, 50 million, neither's going to happen. I think his medical bills are about $2,000. So if you're unrealistic, I'll tell you. If I've missed something, you'll tell me. The important thing is we'll be on the same page, and that will be the end of the demand phase.